In the past few years, we've really seen an uptick in the number of bills introduced that are really dedicated to retirement plan changes and reforms. Most often, when we see legislation impacting retirement plans, it's through provisions that are attached to relatively unrelated bills. For example, the fact that the budget bill from earlier in 2018 included a provision that really radically changed the safe harbor provisions for hardship withdrawals. But again, we've seen more and more bills written and proposed that are dedicated to retirement plans. These bills have come from both Republicans and Democrats, so some evidence of potential bipartisan support here. And we're seeing a lot of the same ideas repeated and carried through, all of which we think increases the probability that we will see some dedicated retirement plan legislation pass. There's been a couple key provisions that would really impact existing retirement plan sponsors. Some of the ideas that have been repeated include providing safe harbors for the selection of in-plan retirement income vehicles like annuities. We've also seen provisions that would create new safe harbor plan designs related to automatic enrollment and auto increase, so allowing plan sponsors that are using these best practices relief from discrimination testing. Some of the more recent legislation that's come to the forefront has included ideas and guidance around missing participants, creating a national registry of terminated employee balances in 401k plans, and raising the automatic cash out limit to really move more balances out of retirement plans into IRAs and give folks more opportunities to consolidate them. And then very recently, we had the Women's Pension Protection Act reintroduced. This bill introduces a couple of ideas that are intended to improve women's retirement readiness. One would be to require spousal consent for all defined contribution plan distributions. Today, spousal consent is required for pension plan distributions, but not required for 401k plans. Secondly, the Women's Pension Protection Act has proposed to change the minimum requirements for including part-time employees in a plan. Today, if a part-time employee works more than 1,000 hours in a single year, an employer has to include them in the retirement plan. This legislation has proposed changing that to 500 hours in 2 consecutive years. Of course, with both of these features, plan sponsors today can choose to be more generous by requiring spousal consent, allowing part-time workers to participate. But the idea behind this legislation is to increase the minimum requirements to improve coverage of women in retirement plans and improve protections for spouses.